مشاهدينا في كل مكان، أهلا بيكم. احنا معاكم النهاردة هنستكمل حوارنا مع سعادة السفيرة إنجريد أمر، سفيرة دولة أستونيا لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. في لقاء اليوم هنتحدث عن تاريخ العلاقات ما بين جمهورية مصر العربية ودولة أستونيا، فابقوا معنا وتابعونا.
I started my diplomatic career in April 1995. It was pretty different Estonia then. Then I had my second posting, which was in Helsinki as a consul. After 3 and a bit more years, I returned home. And actually I got this offer to go to Paris as a deputy ambassador. It was a difficult moment for me because, no one says no to Paris. We are talking about Estonia, which is small, right? And our foreign service is small. And this was also the time when we did campaigning for the Security Council seat, which keeps actually mostly women, but also men, because now I said not maternal leave, but parental leave. So we also try to engage fathers.
مشاهدينا في كل مكان، احنا معاكم حاليا بنستكمل حوارنا مع سعادة السفيرة إنجريد أمر، سفيرة دولة أستونيا لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. Your Excellency, one more time, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
In this episode, I would like to talk with Your Excellency about the history of the relations between Egypt and Estonia. Can you tell us more about this history of relations and how did it started, or when exactly?
Actually, it's very difficult to say when exactly history between our countries started, but I can say that yes, some history between Estonia and Egypt started somewhere in the 19th century when we had missionaries, Christian missionaries actually, who were working here. We had artists and historians who were interested, of course, in Egypt and its long history. So we have part of history like that. After we became an independent country in 1918, Estonia's first task was to establish embassies in Europe and in our closer neighborhood. So we ran short of establishing an embassy here or consulate in Egypt. We had plans actually to do that, but we lost our independence. So we covered Egypt from Athens by our consulate there. We had just honorary consul in Cairo working. We established our embassy in Cairo in 2010. Actually, and before that, for a couple of years, we had a special mission to Egypt, and there was just one diplomat working. Our embassy in Egypt, in Cairo, is our first in the Arab world of the two. We are a regional embassy. I'm not only ambassador to Egypt, but also ambassador to Jordan, Lebanon, Oman, and Arab League. You see, it's a diplomat of a small country talking. We are Estonia's only embassy on the whole African continent. Our embassy network is a bit less than 50 embassies in the world. So that's it. So you see how important Egypt for us is.
Usually, if I had this situation or this answer, I always ask his or her Excellency, why did you choose Egypt? Why did you choose Egypt to be your headquarter place of diplomatic appearing?
I mentioned that Cairo was Estonia's first embassy in the Arab world.
Yes, and
our first and only on the whole African continent. It is the only place on this continent where the two worlds meet. Right?
That's why you choose Egypt.
Yes, yes, it was a strategic decision.
Exactly.
And of course, I think from this part of the world, still Egypt is one of the countries which is most known to Estonians, with more developed relations.
Because of these histories that your Excellency already mentioned in the beginning.
Yes, actually, and Egypt has always also been a place where Estonians love to visit. Maybe we will talk a bit also about the tourism ties, but I can tell you that Egypt is the second or one of the two main destinations outside of Schengen area for Estonians to visit. Last year, I even checked the numbers. We had a bit more than 52,000 Estonians visiting Egypt. Can you imagine? We are a country of 1.3 million. And of those, more than 50,000 every year come here. Estonians love to come mostly in winter months because, you see, we are out in the north and starting from November, it gets a bit depressing because we are lacking sun and it's a bit grayish and coldish. So, and Estonians love to travel and also love sun.
You already, Your Excellency, already talked about the tourism now field, yes. Although we will have talked about it later, but that makes me ask about your favorite tourist destination in Egypt. Which one is it?
This is a difficult question because I've now been here close to 2 years, and I don't feel that I have visited whole Egypt. During the last 2 months, I visited St. Catherine's. I walked up the Musa mountain. This is definitely one of my favorites. It was a bit rough way up. I did not use a camel, but this place is magic. Before that, we went also with a couple of friends to Siwa. So. I liked it very much.
To the north, Aswan or Luxor?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. I had one vacation with my daughters in Guna. They wanted to go to the Red Sea. So we've been to Sharm. I've been to some places, to Alexandria, of course, but there is still a lot to discover.
You got the coast area.
Yes.
The coast area.
Yes.
But not Upper Egypt, not yet.
I've been to Upper Egypt, Minya.
Minya.
Yes.
Why Minya? Because of the industry, because of the trading. Why in Minya especially?
We had actually European ambassadors field trip there.
Okay.
So and it was a very good opportunity to go there, and I think I said that Estonians love to travel. You know, we are a maritime nation, just like Egypt also is. This is something that connects us, and Estonians are practically everywhere in the world. They say even that I don't know if its citation is quotation is good or not, but they say that Hemingway said that in every port of the world you will find some Estonian. But I think in a way it's true because we really are everywhere and we love to travel, and I also love to travel, so I take every opportunity to get out of Cairo.
the relations between Egypt and Estonia, I would like to ask about if there is trading in between the two countries, and what kind or how much is the volume of the trading between the two countries? In which field also? Is it in the field of industry, the field of electronic, the field of...
Okay. Now I'm going to, tell you something that I love to underline here always. I don't want to talk about numbers when trading. Why? Because of the huge discrepancy between the size of our countries. And if we talk of a country which has more than 100 million inhabitants and a country of 1.3 million, yes, we are a high-income country and everything, but we are not on the same continent. We are not on the, in the near neighborhood. So if you look at the trade volumes, then they might seem ridiculous, right? So let's talk about the positive side. Yes, there is trade. We export both services and goods to Egypt. As regards services, it's mostly ICT services. As regards goods, then the main articles are actually timber and timber products and machinery. And if we look into what Egypt exports to Estonia, then of course a very important part of that is agricultural produce and your fruits and vegetables, and this is what we are missing. You understand?
Yes.
And also plastics. But of course there is more potential than we are using, and one of my priorities here also is to boost business ties between our countries.
I hear that there is a cooperation in the field of digital transforming between Egypt and Estonia.
Yes.
Is there any aims or vision to have investment in this field here in Egypt?
Thank you for this question. Actually, a couple of the best Estonian companies working in digital transformation have already their offices here in Cairo and have plans also to deepen the cooperation. Also, one of our biggest companies which works in the field of rate hailing started its operation in Cairo in March. So we are doing things, and we are having very, very good cooperation with the Ministry of Communications and IT. We have exchanged visits. But I might surprise you right now that the biggest investment of Estonians into Egypt is actually into the field of mining and mining gold.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Can we know about the place you're already mining at?
Not yet, but we have very good cooperation with the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining.
That's great.
And it's of course cooperation project, but it's our biggest investment here.
That's very
so far.
I hope you can achieve something rather big, and all the Egyptians also can feel it and see it, inshallah, in the future, in this mining fields that Your Excellency already mentioned.
Yes, Estonia is a mining country. We don't talk a lot about it, but we have an old tradition of mining and mines.
If we talked now about the tourism section, is there any cooperation between the two countries in this field, especially in improving the things that we already offer for the tourists and whoever comes to visit Egypt? So what can you tell us about it? Is there anything you want to change, or you want us to have a re-look on it?
Thank you. Very good question. I think Egypt is already doing a lot in this, because you are trying to diversify the touristic scene in Egypt. I mentioned St. Catherine's and Siva, where I was recently. But if you'd ask any average Estonian on the street, they would probably not know those places. So I would also encourage Egypt to do more. about this, because mostly what people know are your Red Sea resorts. Of course, Red Sea is fabulous, and people who love to dive and snorkel, it's like paradise. But you have much more to offer. For this, I'm glad to say that not very long time ago, we also hosted Dr. Sai Hawass, who gave a lecture in Tallinn, and for full halls, lots of questions. So he had also official meetings as regards tourism, and Egyptians and Egyptian companies also participated in our best-known tourist fair, Tourist, this year's February. So this is work in progress. And I would also promote Estonia as a tourist destination for Egyptians, because, you know, when it gets too hot here, Estonia is a very good destination, especially summertime. We have very long white nights this time of the year, or in June. And there is lot that might be very interesting for Egyptians, because it's very different, and we are always attracted to differences, right?
Yes, that's right. I also would like to ask you something about the field of education, because as we mentioned in the first episode, we talked about the high ranking that Estonian education already have. So is there any cooperation in the field of education between Egypt and Estonia in order to take your, let's say, experience in this field, and how did you achieve the levels that you already reached?
Education for me personally as ambassador has been one of priorities. But I worked mostly with universities, and last year we had a delegation from Tartu University, which I mentioned before also, coming here. We had meetings with several universities here, AUC and Cairo University, to find ways how to cooperate, because we are interested very much in guest lecturers and professors, for example, for Arabic studies or Middle Eastern studies, and there is something also that we can offer, for example, be it cyber or digital, which is something that we are very good in, because it does not always have to be the same. And recently I also had a very good meeting with Minister of Higher Education here, where we discussed possibilities for cooperation and upcoming visits. So yes, we are working on it.
Your Excellency, normally the last question I ask about the Egyptian cuisine. So you have been here for almost 2 years now, which means definitely you have been invited on, let's say, different kind of Egyptian food ceremonies or parties. So can you tell us which one is your favorite and your experience with the Egyptian cuisine?
I have to say that when I came here to Egypt, I was already familiar with Middle Eastern food, but still the Egyptian food scene surprised me, and positively, because there is a lot that we don't know. I think the most known of Middle Eastern cuisines is actually Lebanese, because we have lots of Lebanese restaurants all over the world, and Egypt is not so promoting of their own cuisine. For me, yes, a good surprise was ful and tamia, because I found something that was a bit like falafel, but it was different. Maybe I like it even more than falafels. What was a complete surprise for me was your soups and molokhia. I have to say it's a bit of a quiet taste, but it seems to me that I have acquired this taste, so I started to love it.
That's one of the special dishes here in Egypt. Yes, molokhia and koshari maybe. Or
yes, koshari also, but molokhia I started to love after I had homemade molokhia.
After homemade?
Yes.
Not the shops one?
Yeah, not the shops one. So this is a huge difference.
We didn't talk about the Estonian cuisine also. What's the special things that you always offer in the Estonian table in every house?
If you ask any Estonian who is abroad what they miss the most when they are away, it's of course our bread. You know, every country I think is proud of their bread, and I know Egyptians love their bread also. Your ish baladi is actually fabulous. But our bread is black bread, it's rye bread, it's sourdough, but it's a bit sweetish because we make it with malt syrup. So, and if you'd ask what would be the one dish that describes the most Estonian cuisine, I would say that this is a simple sandwich of Estonian bread, butter, and kilu, which is fermented fish. It's sprat with Baltic sprat with spices, and actually the combination of our black bread, butter, this fermented small fish, a bit of boiled eggs and fresh dill is fabulous. And this is to be found nowhere else, not even with our neighbors. There is something a bit similar Sweden has, you know, fermented fish, but it's not the same. So.
Okay, thank you so much, Your Excellency, for all the time that you have been giving to us, and also for all the information that you shared with us about Estonia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
مشاهدينا في كل مكان، وبكده انتهى معاكم لقائنا مع سعادة السفيرة إنجريد أمر، سفيرة دولة استونيا لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. بتمنى ان يكون لقائنا كان فيه مجموعة من المعلومات والأخبار، وتشوفوا كمان الحلقة وتستمتعوا بيها. شكرا لمتابعتكم، وإلى اللقاء.